and renovated the whole building. And so it could be families from the shelter. It could be families who are otherwise involved with DASI, you know, in counseling or with the legal advocates. And basically, it's transitional housing, and it's from 6 months to 24 months. And we have very close collaborations with Project Self-Sufficiency, with legal services, with other organizations. So we, you know, try to have wraparound services so that these families can get themselves back on their feet.
Is there a rent or is there cost involved with that?
There's a percentage of their income is a program
like a
fee.
sliding scale, or
It's a percentage of their income, so it depends on, you know, if they don't have income, then it's nothing. But you know, the idea is it's a very small percentage of their income, and the idea is to be supported while they perhaps get training, job training, go back to school, get a license for something, or, you know, and just stabilize.
Yeah, and you mentioned Project Self-Sufficiency. Is that the organization that they get the training and assist? So you work hand in hand with Project Self-Sufficiency.
We usually refer to ourselves as sister agencies.
Yeah, it would
very
make a lot of
often, victims of domestic violence will come to us, and then once their situation stabilizes, their safety stabilizes, they can then go to Project Self-Sufficiency for the job training, for life skills, any number of programs that they have, legal clinics. Right.
Teens. You have a program that involves teenagers.
Yes. Well, we have certainly our counseling services are open to teens, but also we have a prevention program. It's called the Interpersonal Violence Prevention Program. And we have educators that go out into the high schools. And we used to do, you know, one day, we call them one-shot deals. We do one day where you'd hit all these different, maybe health classes, and just kind of talk about domestic abuse, dating violence, because it's just as, abuse is just as prevalent, if not more so, in teens than it is in adults. So, but now we're using a curriculum called Safe Dates, and it's an evidence-based curriculum. We try to get in for 5 sessions if we can. That's the ideal. And it's much more of a primary prevention program.
And these classes are held where?
At any high school that invites us.
So you go into the high schools, and is there any other programs involving prevention?
Yeah, yes, actually we're doing quite a bit now in terms of prevention. We also work with many other youth groups besides the schools. We work with Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and we're also about to roll out a new prevention initiative called the Green Dot Strategy. Several of our staff has just been trained on it, and it's basically what we'd like to see are proactive bystanders. So we're going to be training people with skills on you know, what to do if you see situations going on, what to do if you know someone who might be in an abusive situation.
Now, so it's an overall outreach type of a program. I suppose it makes a lot of sense to educate people on preventing domestic violence and avoiding those situations, right?
Well, especially for those of us who've been around a very long time, you know, you really want to prevent these crimes. You don't want to keep, you know, seeing victims being hurt by these crimes. So, you know, the prevention programs are very, very important. Now, we have a community collaboration called the Strength Without Violence Community Alliance. And that is members of the community, including representatives from other organizations, from law enforcement, education, other human service agencies, and we're all working on a primary prevention effort.
What is SART, DV, and CRTs?
The SART is the Sexual Assault Response Team.
Okay.
And that's a collaboration with law enforcement and the local hospitals, where we'll either an advocate from DASI and representatives from those two systems will work together with a sexual assault victim. And that's after, immediately after an assault.
How do you get called into those? Or Do the victims call you and then you get involved, or the police call you and then?
There's a procedure set up so
Okay.
that if a victim calls the hotline just to talk about a sexual assault, then that can be offered as an option. If someone goes to the police, then we can also activate SART. So there's different ways. If a person goes to the hospital, the SART can be activated. The domestic violence crisis team, actually, Donna, you could probably speak to that, because Donna
Yeah.
supervises them.
We have 2 teams currently in Sussex County. We have the Northeast Regional Team, which covers Vernon and Hardiston Townships, as well as a state police team out of the Augusta Barracks. So what happens is we have volunteers who are trained to respond when there's a temporary restraining order application at the police station. And what they will do is they will go and they'll provide resource information, referrals, safety planning, give information on the safe house to the victim that's applying for the restraining order. And it's a really great service because it gives the police the time to do what they need to do, and the victims are getting the information on the resources in the community that they could start reaching out for on the next business day.
And if there's children in the middle of the night, you know, being dragged out, then the volunteers can also help with the kids, which is really critical.
Internet and computer safety.
That's a huge issue right now, and we are really just beginning to educate ourselves, you know, on that, to the point where we can go out and do some training on that. And just when you get one part of it down, something else starts. So, you know, there's issues around sexting and harassment through texting, and you know, abuse through electronic means. So that's just a growing problem for us.
Well, you know, I told you this was going to happen. We're almost running out of time here. And in the remaining moments, the question I would like you to answer for our audience is, what is your best advice, not necessarily legal, but what's your advice to a battered person, typically a woman, although it can be a man? What's your advice to them? I want each of you to answer that one in your own way, if you would.
Even though it's not legal, I would not give advice, and generally we do not give advice, and that is because it's intentional. That is because most victims of domestic violence are the experts of their situation, so they know, you know, what all the ins and outs of their batterer's behavior. So that's the person who really, really knows what's safe, what's not safe. So what I would say to someone who might be living in an abusive situation in a relationship is, you don't have to suffer alone. And we have the hotline, we have services, we have a lot of things that are available, a lot of information that might be helpful. So I would say reach out for help and just see what's available to help you make a decision.
Call that hotline.
Call the hotline.
Yeah. And to just
Donna?
dovetail on that, I would say, you know, just to emphasize that all of our services are free and confidential. So, you know, if you're coming to us and you want to discuss your situation, it's a confidential setting. So, you know, you can feel comfortable to come in and share your information, and it's going to stay in the office. And we're covered by victim counselor privilege. So we have a privilege when we see a victim. So, you know, we're not mandated to report the things that they tell us, other than child abuse, threat to harm themselves or others, or threat to duty, or a duty to warn situation. So other than that, everything would stay at our office and it would be confidential.
Jamie Bernard and Donna Hart, thank you so much for being on the show. You provide a great service for Sussex County, and it's appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Hi, you've just been watching Law Talk Today. My name is Mark Gruber. If you want to see some of these shows, we have our own website. It's called lawtalktoday.tv. Go there or just tune in next week for our next show. Thank you for watching, and good evening.